ball to the ref and out of bounds. And then the best thing happens after. He looks at his teammate as if it's his fault. Like, look, buddy, where you at? You're supposed to be over there. Way off P. Performs again last night.
Oh, no.
Okay, study and contrast for the ring ceremony. First thing that I loved is that LA just is so LA that during the ceremony they were playing the Still Dre instrumental. It's like boom, boom, doom, 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 boom, boom. Hey, Dad, I'm so proud of you. Boom, boom, doom, doom, boom, boom. Like I'm so happy you achieved your dreams. Boom, boom. Okay, here's the other part. Marcus Morris congratulating his brother. Greatest moment. Tough for the Clippers locker room as Ty Lue gives his speech of like, you got to see the pain. You see them, that should get you mad. Like, Marcus, can you stop FaceTiming your mom? And Marcus was like, ring for the Marcus. So great job for the Clippers organization getting focused, getting everybody like who's mad, and then one guy who's just celebrating in the corner. So congratulations to Ty Lue and the coaching staff.
That's awesome.
Other big game last night, the new look Nets, and they looked awesome. And I thought it was really interesting. Kyrie Irving played an awesome game, so here's head coach Steve Nash presenting Kyrie with the game ball. Wait a minute. That's point guard Kyrie presenting head coach Steve Nash with the game ball. Now, I'm not a pro athlete. I know that'll shock people, but that's not how I thought this worked. I've seen a lot of these locker room breakdowns.
Nice moment.
And usually the coach picks out the game ball recipient. And I guess that is what's happening here. The coach, Kyrie, is picking out the game ball recipient. Congrats to Steve Nash. That's great. I like the top-down leadership. Yeah, absolutely. And Kyrie obviously gets to decide who gets the game ball. Good for him.
All right, I just finished watching The Queen's Gambit, and like many of you, I loved it. I don't know how to play chess at all, but I was like, how can I apply chess moves to my everyday life? Like, maybe if I tell my kids that the zoo is closed, they won't see animals, and then they'll stop asking me for a dog. It's like a chess move. And then I'm like, who else is going to use The Queen's Gambit in their everyday life? Oh, I don't know. How about Rob Pelinka? Lakers GM just finished watching Queen's Gambit and said this about NBA free agency. You see the ins and outs of chess, how to study the board, but you don't know until you play the game. So much of what I learned and applied to NBA free agency, I learned from the Queen's Gambit. Me and Rob Pelinka, guess who's not getting a dog? This girl. We figured it out. I finally learned how to play chess. It's going to be a fantastic win. All right. Let us talk some Pittsburgh Steelers.
They would love it.
Where the topic du jour was a TikTok dance. That's French, Nick. Mike Tomlin was asked about JuJu Smith-Schuster's pregame taunting dances on opposing teams' logos and his own team's logo, which I guess was fine when they were winning, not so fine when you're losing, and so not fine when you become a target like JuJu clearly became in Monday's loss to the Bengals. Here's Mike Tomlin.
I am aware of it, and I do plan to talk to JuJu, but we're professionals. I doubt any of those antics and things of that nature are legitimate motivating factors as you step into professional stadiums. But it's about respect, and so we'll have a conversation. But I understand it's about the quality of play inside the white lines, and so I'm not seeking comfort or looking for excuses based on our recent performances on things that occur in pregame or things of that nature. That are social media related.
All right, Brandon, all that being said, and despite what he said, should Mike Tomlin put the kibosh on JuJu's pregame dances?
I think so. And look, I agree with Mike Tomlin. It shouldn't be a motivating factor. I don't think it is. But the problem is it's a distraction. So what do I mean by that? And you know, I saw this question and I'm like, well, why am I the guy that's like entertaining the no fun league? Remember, like 10 years ago, 7 years ago, we're all talking about the NFL needs to lighten up. Why is it me? Why am I the guy usually in the locker room or the guy on television when all the talking about I don't want to see this, and all the other talking heads are like, oh, we love this, we love this, we love this. And the more I thought about it, I thought about the game. I'm like, the game is so hard that everything else is just a distraction. Like, you can go from playing lights out, like the Steelers have 11-0, and then all of a sudden you look up, you're on a 3-game skid. You could play 3 quarters, be up 3 touchdowns, and then still lose the game. There's no room for anything outside of the game once the game starts. And that's why I feel like this is a distraction. That's why when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I said, JuJu need to stop this. Like, what is this? Like, the problem today is these guys are putting the fame before the game. That is the problem. That's a Fred Taylor line. The problem is this kid is averaging 50 yards, less than 50 yards a game for the 2nd year in a row. This is what we're doing. I couldn't even like have the mental capacity to think about these dances because all I'm thinking about is not losing my mind because I can't get in the end zone or because I can't go over 100 yards to help my team win a game. Like, that's what playing wide receiver is about. So when I think about this, it's a distraction because the game is so hard. You could go from winning a game, dominating a game, and in a blink of an eye, snap of a finger, the game is totally different. All the mojo's on the other side of the football field.
Okay, so I'm a little bit torn here because I like fun, and I actually like taunting even. I'll go a step further. But when he got lit up, it was a storyline. And now Mike Tomlin's talking about it. So it's not a thing until it's a thing. But I'm going to show you another highlight, which is my favorite. It's sort of like, not underrated, but it's how the Steelers responded to the high-stepping interception. So get an interception, I could run it back. Let me start high-stepping here. Yeah, I'm doing it. It's Dion. Way out of bounds. Bang. He gets a late hit call because he's way out. Boom, have some. But it just felt disrespectful. But if I was Mike Tomlin, I'd be like, you know what? I like that. That's like Steelers football. And I know it's like, maybe it's like I'm caught in like old Steelers like mentality, but I just like a tough team that doesn't want to get disrespected. And I feel like if you're going to play like this, then at the same time, the offense needs to have that mentality too, Nick.
Yeah, listen, I understand. I don't mind that personal foul. I think some personal fouls, if they're not like cheap shots to a guy's head, to his knees, are good. I think sometimes it's worth the 15 yards. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's worth risking a speeding ticket. You really had to get there fast. Like, I get it. So I don't think all personal fouls are bad. But on the JuJu stuff, God dog it. Some of my best friends in media and colleagues are going to turn me into the person I've never wanted to be. I'm going to be the old man yelling at a cloud. I feel it bubbling up inside of me because yesterday I saw some folks I really like in the media is saying, hey, JuJu, the NFL's using you. You've got to use it. And if that wasn't enough, I then saw some folks being like, guys, we're being too hard on Dwayne Haskins. Too hard on Dwayne Haskins. He's playing for his career. His team playing for the playoffs. He's maskless at a strip joint. Like, what are you talking about? Like, guys, at one point in time, media was anti-athlete. It was, if we're being honest, pretty nakedly racist the way athletes were talked about. It was so many appeals to authority and teams. It was gross. But in some corners, we've gone so far in the other direction that no matter what anybody does, it's defended. Guess what, JuJu? In the last 2 years, you have 1 100-yard receiving game and 3 less than 10-yard receiving games. Since AB left, you have fewer receiving yards than, let me check, Danny Amendola, and 9 more receiving yards than Hunter Renfrow. This year, you're looking up in the receiving yard standings to Russell Gage. You ain't good enough to do this. And it's not putting your team in a good spot. And if we're
Nick,
being
you know
honest,
what it reminds me
the
of?
dances aren't that good. Brandon, the dances aren't that good. Like, it's like bad, bad, bad.
Well, the dances are actually really good. Well, the dances are actually good. I like the dances. You know what it reminds me of really quick, Jenna? You know, right now, if you go ask elementary school kid or a middle school kid, like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know what probably 50, 60% of them are going to say? YouTuber, influencer. Like, what? And that's what the NFL has turned into. Like, guys want to make it to the NFL for the platform now, not for the game. Like, that's what they want to make it to the NFL for. Like, when I get to the locker room, boy, I'm going to take out my phone and I'm just going to party and I'm going to do all of this. That is the problem. The game is too hard to be doing all of this. It's about winning and losing. And all this other stuff is a distraction.
And that doesn't mean you have to spend every waking moment eating game tape and sleep in a hyperbaric chamber.
Correct.
And have no social life and no friends and no outside interests. Nobody is saying that. But at some point, there has to be something where people are like, I think it was a little too far. I think just continually doing the jig on the opposing team's logo while your offense is falling apart and you're roughly the 47th best receiver in football, I think you open yourself up to some criticism. And that doesn't make me Gil Brandt. Like, it's just common sense. Sorry, Gil, he's just an older fella. Like, come on. Like, at some point, we've got young media has to be willing to say these guys, like, it's too much. It's too much.
Okay, can I meet in the middle?
Go
Brandon, would you be okay with it if you went to like the 30-yard line off the logo, meet in the middle, literally? Maybe the 25-yard line?
No.
Or if it was less of a dance and more like a couple of moves. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jenna, because I can talk about this forever, Jenna. The Saints do it right. You know what they do? They lock in, and then they party after. That's a big party when you win. The Saints do it right.